What's good, YouTube? Anti-Yami here, back with another video. And in today's video, we got 3 replays just kind of showcasing the deck, kind of like test hands in a way. And then I have a deck profile that I want to showcase for the deck that I'm most likely, or at least the version most likely, I'm taking to the regionals. That's going to be happening in about 3 weeks or so, 2.5 weeks. So this is a really fun version of the White Forest deck, and I've been having a blast, and it's actually really strong. If you guys again are having a great time and enjoying the content, and if you guys have watched my previous videos, help out by subscribing to the channel. It always helps to leave a like on the video, and if you guys want to have any more suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below. With all that being said, let's go ahead and hop into these replays and let's just talk about the deck. All right, so we are here with game number 1. In all 3 of these replays, I am going first to kind of showcase kind of like the power level and the consistency of the deck, right? So I'm only showing match 1 of each of these games. I won every single one of these matches, so we're not gonna try to go over every single match. But again, we're gonna talk about a little bit more of a going second plan in a different video and things of that nature. So without further ado, let's go ahead and showcase what the deck can do for the most part going first. I don't believe any of my opponents open hand traps, even though they do play a good number of hand traps. But I want to talk about the benefits of like how the engines work really well together and how gassy and powerful this deck really is. So all right, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with the Golem here. Golem is going to spell and trap itself. It's going to summon itself out, and it's going to search out the temple. Then we're going to activate the temple here to spell and trap the Veiler here, and then we're going to also spell and trap the Sing engine, which is really good. The great thing about this engine right here is that there's no bricks. You can open the fill spell and still go crazy. You can still open Golem and go crazy. Seg engine is by far the best starter, but you can open any of these cards and it'll pretty much get you the same results. So here we're gonna Seg engine, and for some god reason, Seg engine can search himself, so that's awesome. Sing engine is going to spell and trap itself, and then we're going to turn both the monsters in the spell and trap zone into the Doom Dragon. The Doom Dragon honestly made this package so much better because now it just gives you a free access to a level or a rank 8, which is going to be our zombie vampire, and then zombie vampire is going to be detached to mill 4. So we mill a Lacrima, an Ash, Tails, or is that Tails? Simple Spoils of the White Forest, and an Azamina, and my opponent is going to mill Temple, Imperm, and the Serpent. And zombie vampire is really broken because you can also see what your opponent is playing, especially if they're not hand trapping you, whatever. You can kind of give a peek, so you know we're on the Odeon or versus the Odeon deck, which is very, very good. And milling cards in the graveyard, especially if it's like something like if a 1-up is in their deck and it's vital to their combo, there's a way you can interact with that, and we're going to talk about that once we get to that step of the combo. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and link both these off for a moon. We're going to special back the Azamina AZ, of course, and then we're going to just go into the Fiendsmith stuff, normal summon this. So if my opponent had Nib here, this looks like a very good spot to Nib, and again, we just have everything in hand too, so we play through Nib no problem. But this is the best time to Nib here, because if I do get Nib here, I can still end on the Desiree plus whatever these two produce, and it's just so much gas anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we're going to search for the Woes here, just in case we do get Nib. Now we also have White Forest follow-up as well. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, the classic discarding Woes. We're going to search the Azamina here, and Azamina AZ is going to search the Wanted. And then from here, we're just going to kind of fast forward it here because this is going to be pretty much just me just spamming the board. So Walls is going to reset itself back. Requiem is going to equip. That's going to use for the cost of the Azamina AZ. We're going to add back the Simple Spoils off of this. Azamina, or sorry, not Azet, Hollow Azamina is going to summon our Sylvia here. Now it's going to give us protection from like nib and other hand traps. And then now we just go bonfire, because I feel like at this point this is just free resources here. So bonfire into you know, poplar into such and this, making the Desiree here, doing our classic chain, and then we're gonna summon RC Eligo. RC Eligo is just gonna search for another Azamina Azet, SP Little Knight, banishing. Thought this was important out of the graveyard, and you always usually end on SP Little Knight in most of your combos. So this interaction will always come up with a zombie vampire, SP Little Knight banishing. Also, normally you always zombie vampire mill spells from your deck, and then you go into the Dilla Bells level 8. So you can actually add back any spell and traps that you milled. I remember getting hand trap, and then I milled a triple Tactus Talents, got into the Dilla Bells, and then added back the triple Tactus Talents to look at his hand, and it was just pretty much crap. So it's really, really cool. It's just really good. Black Witch is going to set the betrayal here, and then we're going to just draw off of the quick play to just draw a card. Sequence is going to equip to the Desiree, and yeah, this is gonna be our strong end board. So we have Wolves, Betrayal, which is basically a Desiree as a trap form, which is gonna send our Dilla Bellstar for follow-up. We have an Omni Negate here, and we have Desiree, SP Little Knight, and this. And then of course, normally we draw 1 or 2 hand traps off most of these combos, but here we just have the Ash Blossom for the non-engine push. And yeah, we're just off to the races here. I don't see how we lose this. So he starts off with a Pot of Prosperity. I just ash it because we don't want to see more good cards. This is keeping him off the Odeon engine. He goes into Fenrir, and we're just going to negate the Fenrir here, adding some follow-up here. And then he goes into the Temple, banishing Nib, and then we're just going to shut down both of those cards with the Desiree. He goes into Battle Phase, and we're just going to Book of Moon everything, which using the Azamina Azet, we're going to add even more follow-up, and yeah, we just OTK our opponents on the next turn on that. So that is going to be game number 1. So game number 1 was really cool, and then now we're going to move on to replay number 2. And actually, I think it's the same. No, this is a different Odeon deck or a different Odeon player. It looks like the same person, but I think a lot of the Odeon players are on like Border Breakers and stuff, and of course they're playing Fiendsmith. So let's go ahead and hop in. So we're going to normal summon the Sylvie of the White Forest, and then now we're going to go into our Sangenjin play here. I really feel like I probably should have started with this on the Millennium stuff first, but I digress. It's fine. Then we're going to the Zombie Vampire, of course, and then Zombie Vampire is just going to mill Engraver, draw a Lockbird. Funny enough, I do play Fiendsmith cards, so milling Fiendsmith cards, I can also go in straight into the Fiendsmith engine with that. So this doesn't tell me what he's technically on, which is like whatever, but we know he's rocking out Engraver package, so it doesn't mean like there's no blue eyes. Usually this means no Centurions. This could be, I don't know, it could be anything. It could be Fiendsmith Ryziel, whatever. And then of course we mill Poplar, Hollow Azamina, Valor, and Azamina, or sorry, just regular Azet. So we bring back the Poplar, and no, sorry, we don't bring back the Poplar. We tracking. Oh, we did summon the Azamina, or the Azets. I keep saying Azamina Azet. Then Poplar is going to spell and trap itself because that's what it does, and then gives us an extra spell as well. Now we're going to Synchro 6. We're going to discard the Tails here because it's just free resources. Searching the Woes, and then we're going to revive this back, flip it over. This is going to search for Azamina Azet, and then the same song and dance here. So we're just going to kind of fast forward this a little bit, and we're going to add back the Hollow that we actually milled off our Zombie Vampire, going for the Fiendsmith engine here. Kind of the same thing. We're using Black Witch here with the Requiem combo, so we can just get a free send off that. And then we go into the Lacrima, or sorry, the sequence for Desiree. And then now we're going into our Azamina lines here, which is fantastic. And yeah, we're just going to end on just like a ton of interruptions. SP Little Knight again, banishing the Fiendsmith out of the grave. And again, going back with all these interruptions here, it's just insane, right? So my opponent actually, I think he actually main decks the Slayers, which it makes sense, right? Because it's a more Raizo format, so like obviously it makes sense here. So he goes Ultimate Slayer, sending Agman Day, which I didn't understand why he did this, but it later on makes a little bit of sense because he has the second Slayers. He bouncing back my SP Little Knight, which I'm like, sure, man, fine, I don't care. Ultimate Slayer again, bouncing back my Sylvia, and yep, I'm just gonna let that go too. Doesn't really matter. And then he used Desiree to actually use as an actual send. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna let that happen, and we're going to just chain Dilla Bells, and we're gonna summon Arcia. And then now we do chain link 1 Arcia, chain link 2 Azet, and then chain link 3 Poplar to spell and trap itself, because we're going to use this pretty much as like an infinite resource loop as a spell discard. And then we're going to add back the Azets, and then we're going to search for a Veiler. So we have an interruption here still. Then he goes Engraver effect. Engraver, yeah, I'm just letting this rock. And also I had Droll here, but I almost felt like it was kind of unfair to Droll my opponent. I want to give him a fighting chance. So yeah, I just want to see how far he'll push into my inboard here. And so I'm letting him combo off here, and he gets to this point where I'm like, okay, yep, that's fine send. And then he gets to this point, and then now I'm just going to Book of Moon the board here, and I want to say, yeah, he just scoops here because we just Book of Moon everything, and we pretty much just win the game on the spot. So yeah, that's going to be game number 2 with that. And then now we're going to move over to game number 3, and this is versus Sprite Runic, which, man, I honestly didn't think that this deck will still exist, but it does. So yep, we're going first here again. We're going to normal summon Sylvie, and I'm going to let this play fast here because, yeah, we've seen this in multiple different ways. I was hoping we can see like a Chorozo line in one of these games. I didn't quite catch that. But yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and just create a ton of advantage here using Poplar as a resource loop here, and then we're gonna use the Anima for the tribute cost of, you know, the deception here. And then now we can see how we're just starting to loop all these different engines, the Black Witch, the Hollow, you know, combo. Now we go into the Dilla Bells, adding back the Dramatic Chase, and now I'm gonna go into the Millennium package, which is going to set up our zombie vampire, which is really insane. Spelling trap that, going to Doom Dragon, then zombie vampire, discarding, sending 4. Let me just backtrack here a little bit because I always like to talk about what we send because it's very fun to see what we send here. So we send a Bonfire, a Sylvie, a Veiler, and a Betrayal. And then he sends Sprite Blue, a Tip, a Flashing Fire, and a Starter. So this basically tells me he's on Sprites. He's actually on Life Twin cards too, because I definitely finished this match with him, and he's definitely on Life Twins as well, which is kind of cool. So, but yeah, it just gives you so many options and so many different pivots you can do in this deck, and it just gives you so many, like, I just love Zombie Vampire. If you're a combo deck and somebody's Zombie Vampire, you're just doing something crazy. It's great. So yeah, so now we're just gonna turn that into the Fiendsmith package. So we're just gonna do the Fiendsmith stuff here. Lockerma effect to dump the Engraver, then return that into a sequence, and then we're gonna turn that into a Desiree. We're gonna draw a card. And then again, we're gonna turn that into an SP Little Knight. I forgot to activate the effect of SP Little Knight because I'm a bot. And then now we just have, again, just infinite like craziness here, right? We kept this face up this time because this makes my opponent monsters weaker, so it's just harder to out a lot of things. Because I know some people like to summon like something like Fenrir to out like SP Little Knight, just go straight into battle phase and beat over it. Can't even do that. So it's just like, it just puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. We have like infinite follow-up. I mean, it's just insane how much follow-up this deck has. And again, we have double Imperm Ash here, so like there's just no way we're losing this, right? So my opponent definitely tries to crack to the board, and we're just gonna fast forward through this. So we just Imperm the Jet, and he just already had a starter, so I just Ash the starter. Goes into Sprint here. This is doing that thing where it lags for some reason. All right, so sprint, I'll let this go because I mean it's not gonna do much here. Goes into gigantic, and then I'm just SP Little that away, and that's just gonna be the wrap for that. So I mean, obviously he could have kept playing. He could have just summoned or activated this and then go into Freezing Curse, but he definitely knows that I just have infinite ways to just stop that. So it's just like no point of just keep continuing playing on that. So all right, with all that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the deck list. All right, so we are here with the beautiful deck list. It's just, I don't know, it's just so good. Again, I'm going to probably end up doing another version, but I'm taking this to the regionals, and I just want to do something really spicy and really different with the deck. It's just really powerful. It's just so much gas. It plays through a ton of hand traps. I mean, it still has its draw issues, but it has consistent ways to get into like the Fiendsmith engine. So you go bonfire into Poplar, and then you get drawed on that. Then you can still go into the Fiendsmith engine by just normal summoning any hand trap or just a white forest card or anything like that. You can still like use Sengagen to get into the Fiendsmith engine, which is also really strong. It's just this very good ways to just end on something through a draw. And you can still summon something like Azamina EZ to fusion into the Severia. You can still chain Wanted, setting the Betrayal, which is really good. So it's just so many different ways, and still have tons of interruptions through a card like Droll. So this is kind of why we're playing this card, because it's just a very low floor, like summon Black Witch summons this or set this, and then on top of that, it gets you follow-up because you use this on your opponent's turn. You negate a card permanently. By the way, it's a permanent negate. So if you hit a fill spell, it's just permanently negated. So it's just really good. Selling thing with like monsters and stuff like that. Black Witch is going to summon herself back, adding something like Wanted or Deception for follow-up. It's just really strong. So it's just a lot of things that you have to keep in mind when you're trying to break this board. Even though you hand trap it to Oblivion, it's still going to end on like couple of interruptions because there's a lot of like low to the ground combos and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna probably update some of the ratios and stuff like that. I'm thinking about adding a Stellar to this particular deck list because normal summoning Stellar is really good, especially since you're protected with Chorozo. There are different ways you can actually bridge into it, like Bonfire, Poplar can make this, spelling trapping the Black Witch, go into Chorozo, normal summon a Stellar. If Stellar gets negated, then you know you can still Synchro 6 and send Poplar as the spell. Like, it's just so many crazy great lines that you can do with this deck. And again, I'm going to showcase it and probably update a little bit and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the deck list, and this is something I'm probably gonna be taking to the regionals here in Pittsburgh. So I'll see you guys there if you guys are interested to, you know, say hey, what's up there and stuff like that. And also on top of that, I'll be probably showcasing my regional prep on how I prep up for regionals and stuff like that. How do I prepare for the meta and some of the best decks, and learning the side deck patterns and stuff like that. So yeah, but with all that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching. And again, if you found this video very informative, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. Road to 1,500 subscribers at some point. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.